Hi everybody! I hope everyone's had a good week. I hope everyone's gotten a chance to go out and enjoy the sunshine. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. Can't wait to get out of here and enjoy the sun. Summer's around the corner. Today we're going to be focusing on nail wraps. So we're going to read through the chapter together, and then you guys have your nail wrap questions that you need to complete, and then you've got a nail wrap workbook you can work on. All that information's in your folders. And then I'm going to be doing a demo on how to do a nail wrap, and you guys can practice at home, okay? And that's all we've got planned for this week. So let's get started. Let's read through our nail wrap chapter. I hope everybody has their manuals in front of them. Okay. Nail wraps. Nail wraps are small pieces of cloth, silk, or paper that are nail-shaped and sized and are adhered to repair a natural nail or strengthen a nail tip. You can buy nail wraps pre-cut to size and shape, or you can cut them from cloth or fabric. So you can cut them yourself with scissors to create the perfect fit for your client. A lot of the wraps come pre-sized, so you'll have a small to large size and you can just fine-tune them if you need to. Fabric wraps are made from silk, linen, and fiberglass. Silk is thin with a tight weave and becomes transparent when it is covered with adhesive. Linen is a heavy material and will not go transparent, so a colored polish must be applied to hide the color. Fiberglass wraps are very thin and loose woven, so the glue penetrates easily. It is incredibly strong and durable. Please note that pre-cut wraps usually come with an adhesive back. If they don't, that's okay. We have glue, we have our own adhesive that we use. We just have to make sure that we position it perfectly before we start gluing it down. Paper wraps are a temporary method of strengthening the natural nail. A thin piece of tissue is applied over the nail plate to add strength. Paper wraps are applied with a mending liquid which dissolves in non-acetone remover and therefore only provides strength for a short period of time. Long nails require more strength than what nail wraps can offer. Paper wraps are rarely practiced, so we will be learning the fabric wraps. Please note that for paper wrap, you will need mending tissue, mending liquid, and ridge filler. So again, paper wraps are extremely temporary. Nobody really uses them now. They're not very strong at all. If you're going to use any type of wrap, it's going to be silk, linen, or fiberglass, okay? And I believe we have fiberglass today. Liquid nail wraps. Liquid nail wrap is a polish made from tiny fibers designed to strengthen the natural nail while it grows out. So basically this is just a nail strengthener. You brush on once a day for a week, remove it all, and start again. So it strengthens the protein fibers in the actual nail plate. Nail liquid wrap is a little thicker because of the fibers, and it's best to brush it on in several different directions to get that hard, strong bond. Fabric wraps. We will be demonstrating the application process of fabric wraps using silk wraps, silk or fiberglass, in addition to your regular manicure steps. You will need the fabric, glue or adhesive, scissors, a block buffer, a coarse abrasive file, resin activator or adhesive dryer. Resin activator looks like this. If you don't have the resin activator, that's fine. You can still do a nail wrap. If you have, this one is the fiberglass. It's kind of a looser weave. And this is the silk. If you don't have the resin activator, that's fine. You just have to wait a little longer in between glue applications. Usually 2 to 3 applications of glue is good for a wrap. You want to make sure that the surface is completely saturated. You don't want any of the tiny little fibers sticking up, because when we do our light buffing at the end, we don't want to buff into the fibers. So this just makes sure that the layers in between applications dry quick. It is very caustic and flammable, so you have to keep it in a dry, dark place. And you have to make sure you use a mask when you use this. You can't breathe in these chemicals, okay? Application steps for nail wraps. So follow your pre-service procedures. Make sure that you sanitize the hands, or get your client to wash their hands in hot soapy water. Push back the cuticles gently, light buff, dehydrate, and then you can apply your tips. Once you've blended the tips and buffed the shine off the tips, then you can cut your silk and glue it on. And then you just apply 2 to 3 layers of glue. You can use resin activator in between each layer if you need to. Lightly buff. You can shine buff to add high gloss shine, or you can use a top coat. Up to you. Now the fabric might not fit the width or length of a client's nail completely. That's okay, as long as the majority of the nail is covered. It doesn't have to go right to the sidewall or right to the cuticle. If a little bit of the fabric is sticking out a little bit at the free edge, that's okay, because once the glue dries, it hardens and it'll file off really easy. The careful part is cutting around the cuticle and sidewalls. It's okay if it's not long enough or the width isn't wide enough, but if it's too wide or it goes into the cuticle line, you're gonna have a really hard time trying to smooth that out. So a little smaller is better than too big. Once you fit your fabric perfectly to mimic the cuticle and sidewalls and free edge, you're going to apply your first layer of glue. If your fabric wrap, your silk, or your fiberglass doesn't have an adhesive back, just get it into place and then apply a little dot of glue and just hold it there so it stays, and then you can push down the rest of the wrap, okay? Spray each layer with resin activator if you have resin activator, and then apply another coat of glue or adhesive. Make sure that when you're using the resin activator, you're not spraying it when you're working on your client like this. You're not spraying it like this, because this is going to go directly into your client's breathing zone and it's highly toxic. So make sure that the client goes off to the side and maybe put their hand towards the wall and just spray like that. You don't want to spray too close because it can burn a little bit on the skin. So make sure that you're farther enough away that it's just a nice light mist. It's not making the nail and the hand wet with product. Once you've done that, you're going to gently buff the entire surface so it's completely smooth. You're going to file your edges, smooth out your free edge, and you can either 3-way buff with your coffin buffer, which I prefer to do on the wraps. Otherwise, you can just use a regular top coat, or you can paint them if they want to color with gel polish. When you're done that, apply cuticle oil, and you're done. It's really simple. It's a temporary service for those clients that don't want to invest the time into a full gel or acrylic set, and then invest the time into maybe a couple days later after their wedding or special event, investing in taking them all off, drilling them off, soaking them off. Some people don't like that maintenance. So if they want something quick and easy and they only want it for a day or two, then silk wraps are perfect. They're fast, they're cost effective, and they're easy to remove. Okay. If your client is continuing to wear wraps, which isn't the likely thing to do, normally if your client wants longevity with their enhancements, they're going to have a gel or acrylic nail. But if they do have a wrap and they don't fall off after 2 weeks and they want to fill, you can do that. You have to cut your silk piece or your fiberglass piece really thin into a little half moon that mimics the same growth area at the cuticle. Place it down and glue it down. Just making sure that it's not adhering completely to the cuticle line, okay? And then you would do all your steps as normal. So, yeah, usually it says after 1 week you just use glue for the fill, and after 2 weeks use the fabric. But you're not going to fill until 2 weeks normally with fabric wraps. So you always, when you do a fill, you're always going to use another little piece of fabric. Otherwise, it's not going to be strong enough and they'll fall off. Okay. Okay, let's go all the way down to paper wraps. Again, paper wraps are very temporary. You need a mending liquid. This dissolves in non-acetone, very easy to remove. And the only supplies you need are the mending tissue, mending liquid, and ridge filler, along with all your abrasives, your files, and your buffers. Okay, and that's it. This chapter is nice and short. Your questions, there's only 3 of them, so it's really easy. All you need to know from this chapter is 4 things fabric wraps are made from. So we know that they're made from silk, linen, fiberglass, and tissue. You can say paper or tissue. How many layers of adhesive is used over a silk wrap, and what's another name for adhesive dryer? So 2 to 3 layers of adhesive, and another name for adhesive dryer is resin activator. 5 items used in a wrap application. We have resin activator, nail glue, scissors, block buffers, files, and fabric. And that's it. Okay, that's all you need to know for your quiz. So you have all your information in your folders, so you guys can work on that this week. We have a Zoom tomorrow. We're gonna have a separate Zoom for spa and nails, so Anna will send you that link. So let's go into our demo. Okay, set this up. Good. Okay, so we are using fiberglass wraps today. This is what the packaging looks like. You can get wraps that are pre-shaped like this, or you can get just rolls of silk that look like this. I've got my resin activator, my adhesive, my glue, orange wood stick, scissors, my tip cutter if I need to shorten my length. Always make sure that you have tweezers. You want to be very careful that you don't touch this silk or fiberglass too much. You don't want to manhandle it too much. We have a lot of oils on our fingers, and it'll prevent it from adhering properly to the natural nail or to the tip. Block buffer, files, and I'm going to use my 3-way shine buffer today. Okay, so I have my little finger and I have my nail inside. I'm going to buff the shine off the tip. Hold on to that while I buff. Now, normally I would be wearing a mask right now, but I forgot to bring my mask. I left it at home. So I will have my mask next week. Make sure that if you guys don't have any masks at home, make sure you get some or get one. You don't want to breathe in this nail dust. It's not very good for you. Okay. Put that back in. And if you don't have a little finger, that's fine. You can just hold it as well while you're practicing. Okay, so let's try one of these. Let's see. What size is the best? Probably the second one. So what I'm going to do is use my tweezers. I'm going to hold the tip. I'm going to cut it off. Okay, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to take it off. Now this doesn't have an adhesive on it, okay? It's completely dry, so I have to put a little bit of adhesive on my tip and then place this down before I continue. So I'm going to make sure it's a good fit, and it looks like it's a perfect fit. Place that down. I'm going to place some adhesive on my nail, and I'm going to pick up my fiberglass, and I'm going to place it down. I'm going to make sure that's good, and then I'm going to start my application for the rest of the adhesive. You really have to push it down into place, especially on a larger surface. I'm going to focus on this one side while it's drying. Make sure there's no ripples. That's good. Other side. This is quite a large surface area, so you really have to make sure that all your corners are completely flat and there's no bubbling. Make sure the cuticle line is nice and flat. Your free edge is nice and flat, and just keep pushing down your edges and your corners until the glue starts to dry. That looks good. Okay, so if we want to use our resin activator to dry the glue quicker, we can do that. The base is good. Spray it away from your breathing zone. It's really toxic, but it smells really good. It smells like bananas. Okay, so 2 little sprays and that will be completely dry. So if you want to make sure it's completely dry, just click it. And when it makes a nice clicking noise, you know you can put your second layer of adhesive on. And be careful, ladies, I was telling the other class this, when you're dealing with chemicals like monomer liquid or glue, nail glue or acetone, or really any kind of chemical in the salon, make sure to wear your glasses and not your contacts. Chemicals can actually melt plastic contacts around the eye just from the fumes. So just make sure and wear your glasses. And the glasses are good to wear because if there's any bits of debris that flick up into your face from drilling or filing, you have protection. So it works great for both purposes. Nice thick layer. Layer number 2, making sure not to saturate the cuticle area. Okay. Second spray. Okay. Now I can see the fibers through it. It looks good, but I'm going to do another layer just to make sure. I don't want to go to all this trouble and then file into the fabric at the very end. Good. Okay, that looks great. So now, maybe a little tacky. Maybe I'll wait just a few more seconds, 30 more seconds, just to make sure that it's completely dry. I don't want to file into it when it's tacky because I'll wreck the surface. Okay. So this is hard now. So this hard fabric, don't worry about all the little flyaways or the little stringy bits that come off the side. It's totally hard. It's not going to affect the nail at all. You can cut it off. You can file it off now. It'll be fine. Put the glue back on. That was the activator. That's the glue. These are the wraps that we used. Okay. File your nail. Shape your nail. When you're happy with your shape, start buffing. Lightly buffing. Don't over buff. Just buff to remove the shine. Looks good. Now, with your shine buffer, you have the coarsest side, which is usually blue, and then you have a white side, and then the gray side. So it has to go in that sequence. It has to go blue, white, gray in order to get the high gloss shine that you want. So I'm going to start with the blue. Then the white. And then the gray. You want to use a bit of pressure, and the pressure and the friction will create heat, and that's what's going to help with the high gloss shine. Okay. We are done. Very simple, very natural, and very easy to do. If I want to remove this, all I do is soak, again, acetone soaked cotton balls, wrap it in tin foil, just like a gel polish nail, and it'll come off within 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so that's all for today. If you guys have the supplies at home, that's awesome. If not, then it'll be exciting for you to practice when we can get back into the classroom. And if you have any questions, we'll open it up for questions now. Oh, no worries, Colleen. Did you see the demo?
The link is going to be there anyway, so they will be watching if they want.
Perfect. Awesome. Do you guys have any questions for me at all? Okay. Well, Colleen, we just did the wrap chapter. The wrap chapter is really quick. You only need to know a few questions. I'll go over the questions again quickly that you need to know. Just make sure that you work on whatever Anna put in your folder. So yeah, all you need to know, 4 things wraps are made from, how many layers of adhesive are needed, and 5 items used in a wrap application. So pretty straightforward. Yeah, no assignments with this chapter. This week it's just wraps, just the wrap chapter and the demo. So you guys don't have too much to do this week. Great. Okay, any more questions? No? Pretty straightforward today. All right, guys. Well, tomorrow we're doing our Zoom. So if there's any questions you can think of that I couldn't address for you today, we'll address them tomorrow. Okay? Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.